Superheroes. Vigilantes that fight to get things done because they're not getting done right. And they settle it. One man, one team, their powers, they get stuff done. What's happening? Why are the superheroes hanging out in coffee shops? Why is the Asian Chinese 13-year-old Hulk the repressed anger of a man who isn't yet even a grown adult man? Doesn't make sense that he would be the Hulk. Okay, it's the repressed anger of youth and revolt, riot youth, whatever you want to call it. Okay, they're the Hulk, the unrestricted rage and anger of a disaffected teenage youth. Cool. Happy Harry Hard on Next Gen. I know you don't know what that is. But anyway, the Hulk. It doesn't matter he's Asian. No, the ethnicity of the Hulk doesn't matter. The anger matters. It's the uncontrolled rage of a man, right? All of it. Ugh. It's Hulk smash. So I watched somebody talk about a Hulk comic book, and they showed pictures of it where the Hulk he gets mad and he turns into the Hulk, but then all he does is gives a speech and he never smashes. That's not anger. That's not the unrestricted, unbridled rage of a man, right? Not to say that men are angry and violent, but I'm saying, why are the superheroes hanging out in coffee shops? Because that's what everybody complains about. Why are all the men being replaced while the women take charge, even though that it's men that read comic books, and there's a segment of women that read comic books, and they were like, well, we're fine with the way they were before. Why are all the people making comic books for people who don't read them? And why are the people who own the company of comic books, in this case, let's say it's Disney, why don't they care that comic books are losing money and that the places that sell them are going away, so that there's no place to buy the comics unless, and here's where we're going with this episode, unless Disney provides all the means and methods and distribution for comics, right? They don't have Disney doesn't have DC, but they do have Marvel, and they have the Marvel movies. Everybody likes the Marvel movies. Nobody likes the Marvel comic books, all right? Because there's no need for, this is the program developing sensibilities. The sensibilities of the generation that had the, corporate steroid-soaked gladiator hero figures, G.I. Joe, He-Man, and all your Marvel comics, your rehashed Greek gods. And what else did you have? You had Star Wars. Disney owns both these things. Disney's trying to acquire more of Marvel. But this isn't about that kind of stuff. This is about why. Well, here's how a company works. Disney makes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's Star Wars and Marvel comics. And people say, well, great, we love peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Disney has a lot of money. They're going to make really good peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for us in our comics and in our Star Wars movies. And then people wait in line and they get their Star Wars movies and their Marvel comics for years now, like let's say a decade or 5 to 10 years now. And Disney's had these things. And every time people get in line, they hand them an egg salad sandwich or a tuna fish sandwich. And everybody says, I don't want this. I don't even like these. I want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's Star Wars. That's Marvel Comics. I just want my heroes, my traditional classic heroes. The future that Disney Corporation wants to create through globalization, because Disney is the media, Disney's going to have a huge streaming. They have the whole catalog of history of all their old stuff that we know everybody likes. They're going to compete with Netflix online. So what else happened with Disney? They threw a bunch of merch out and said, well, nobody's buying the merch. That's okay, we'll dial back the merch. So Han Solo comes out, not so much merch. So what are you going to get with your next Star Wars Episode 9? You're going to get it even more over the top and on the table. All the things you hate, like you never saw before. And people will go, how can they keep messing up? They're not messing up. They're doing this on purpose. And you can see it really overtly in the comic books by what I'll call Marvel SJW coffee shop crowd comics, with the teams, with their adventures. The same thing's happening with the DC. They call it the social justice warrioring. The heroes aren't questing. The heroes aren't having heroes' journeys. The female heroines, the female heroes are becoming deliberately physically unattractive and less womanized. And the guys are complaining about it over and over again. There's different types of women and different body types, and there'll always be that. But what you're seeing in the comic books is they're only showing certain things. They're taking away the busts. They're defeminizing women. And this is happening in Star Wars too. And nobody likes it. The women don't like it. The men don't like it. The people who pay for, the patrons of all these things, whether they be male or female, even though they're predominantly male on both of these things. Why doesn't the company care that they're losing money? That the people that, I mean, it's so easy to just keep making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for comics buyers and Star Wars fans. Really good peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And everybody knows how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And that's the audience, and that's the patrons of Star Wars and comic books. And they're telling you, hey, my dad's George Lucas, and he invented the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And my mom is Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, and they invented the superhero comics. And I mean, and we know how to make, they made us our peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for lifelong. And we know that the new guys, the writers and artists of our Star Wars and our comic books know how to make peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We all know. We're telling you, just make it like this. It's so easy. We thought you were going to make it taste really good because you have all the money. Why are you giving us tuna fish and egg salad sandwiches? And what's worse, every sandwich that everybody gets that waited in line for to get one of these tuna fish and egg salad sandwiches, they're spoiled. We don't even like it. We're not standing in line anymore. And nobody's buying your peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's not Star Wars. That's not superheroes, and that's the point. The superheroes standing around in coffee shops, becoming lesbians, becoming women, switching genders, having men do all the superheroes are men. Now they're not going to be masculine anymore. Is it time to take turns? No, because if you're a business that wants to make money, and you would make your SJW line as like a whole line, and then you would do your regular superheroes because you already know that what keeps income coming in is peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Old regular Marvel, DC Comics superheroes, the way everybody already agreed that they liked them, keep doing more of the same. Disney owns them now? Cool. Give the artists more money, make them look better. But instead what you have is a deliberate concerted degradation of 1, masculine roles, 2, feminine roles, 3, questing and adventures, actually fighting for anything. They're complaining about stuff, which is just reflected on, there's preaching. The superheroes are preaching now, and it's not selling comics, and it's not selling merch. And the company, let's just call it Disney, that owns these things now, doesn't care. And it's not going to stop. And every time they rehire and remanage and reshuffle, who do they get in there? More of the same people that are going to create the same content. Now, Disney understands what content is being created, and they would use the law, if they wanted to, by any means necessary, to stifle them from losing money, if it mattered. So it means they're aware that they're losing money, and this was accounted for. Why? Because the future that Disney's preparing for doesn't give a damn. I mean, Disney as the company corporation. Forget about what Disney is and who owns it. But what Disney is preparing for says we don't care so much about merch in the future because we see the trend of things and people look into monitors. So we're going to focus our money on people looking into monitors. And you're saying, really? You don't care about the merch? Yeah, really. They're really, it's like the next phase. It's like but one thing's for sure. No heroes. They don't want any kind of heroes in the future. I'll even take it, what's that movie that came out? It has like a weakling superhero guy that looks like Tom Hardy. Upgrade. There's a movie that just came out as of the time I'm recording. It's called Upgrade. And everybody said it's a big hit. It's a new action movie. But what I noticed about Upgrade, if you noticed too, I haven't seen the movie. I've only seen the trailers. It's all skinny guys. It's like hipster guys fighting each other, right? They still have all the Hollywood stuff you have, but they're not really any big, strong, masculine dudes. And how's the fighting? It's not a superhero. It's an upgrade. It's here. I paid for this thing that they gave me, and now it fights for me, and I watch it fight. Wow, isn't it cool? There's no need for a hero in that. So this new, you're saying, oh, well, that doesn't have anything to do with superhero stuff in Star Wars. Of course it does. I'm just trying to show you why are they making Captain America into a weakling? Why is Wolverine dead? Why is Wolverine a lesbian woman? Why is the Hulk a woman? Why is Thor a woman with cancer? Why, Why isn't the most manliest of men Thor, the god of male potency and lightning? He isn't worthy enough to wield his hammer. He isn't worthy enough to be a father, and the hammer of, what I mean, whatever you want to say about whatever you think of Thor and what that means. It doesn't matter. The point is that they are. The point is to crush heroes. If you'll accept a weak Batman, a weak Captain America, a weak Superman that doesn't really do anything, and a weak Luke Skywalker, well, they killed them all. You see what I mean? Like, they're heading into the next Star Wars movie with no male heroes. There's a Rey who nobody can get behind, and Disney knows this, and they don't care. End that. We don't really want heroes. If they're going to give you a hero, it's going to be an impractical, unreasonable hero that you won't believe. Nobody believes Rey, and that's the point. You were never even supposed to like her on purpose. Do you understand how devious and deceptive it is? It really is like this. She's impractical, and anybody behaving like Rey in reality will fail, which is what everybody complains about. If this bitch tried to do this, she would be dead already. 10 times over. That's what everybody complains about. Men and women alike that are going to talk about Star Wars on YouTube say, yeah, Rey's just not believable. And who are the heroes? There isn't a single one. And who are the villains? And all the Marvel movies, the villains aren't so bad, right? So the heroes fight and they're heroic because we still we like to see that fighting. But in the last Marvel Avengers Infinity Wars, string all that together every time you gotta say it, movie, what do we see? The heroes lose and the bad guy wins, and it's framed as like a piece around sympathy for the bad guy, sort of. And who knows what we're gonna get with the next Infinity War Part 2. But the point is, it was 15 years leading to this movie, which is gonna put an end to superheroes as you're used to them. Okay, here's how superheroes were in the movies. It was a bunch of handsome men going out and doing the fighting and battling and the warring, which is how it's always been throughout the history of man forever. Men going out and warring to protect the womb mans so that those wombs wouldn't have to be scarred by the traumas of war, so that safe, healthy progeny would come here to raise the next generation of everything here on the fucking planet. Us, right? We're here now, you and me. So, I'm trying to drive home the point that it's on purpose to destroy superheroes, to end them. Superheroes, they don't want people being heroes in the world. In real life, they don't want the ideas of, I could go out and do this, I could go out and, think about how many guys successfully, with big followings, making money with supporters on YouTube. All the reviewers that don't like the direction superhero comics have taken are guys in the military. These are all guys who grew up reading superhero comics, were influenced by superhero comics, joined the military to be heroes. How can you actually really be a hero where you're like a physical guy? You can train martial arts in UFC or whatever and fight other men. You can write comic books and draw stuff. You can make movies. And some people join the military. Sometimes they join the military because they saw it as a way to get the funding to learn the schooling to write or learn how to draw or learn how to make movies or whatever they want to do. But let's face it, the main YouTubers, the most successful YouTubers that talk about comic books and what's happening in comic books and how Marvel's being destroyed and how Star Wars is being destroyed, a lot of those guys are military guys. Some of them even have to stop their channels because they get deployed. So those guys know something about hero archetypes. They grew up with them and they're seeing them trashed, and everybody knows this now. So the superheroes aren't heroing, they're not questing. Look, Disney owns the superheroes now, and they don't want a populace in the future of people who are willing to fight for anything. So the superheroes are going to do impractical, unrealistic stuff. It's going to be a swap. The men are going to be soft, like Marshmallow Thundercats, like Steven Universes, sound familiar, in the Marvel comics and in Star Wars. And the women are going to do all the stuff that the men would do, which isn't stuff that most women aren't really interested in. And they're not really interested in reading about it, which is why they weren't the main focus of comic books. So they pointed comic books at women, and women said, we don't really want to buy them. And the women that bought comic books said, yeah, we still want to buy them, but you stop making this SJW stuff. We don't want it. And they said the same thing with Star Wars. I didn't want to stick too much to comic books and draw away from Star Wars, but let's face it, there's no male heroes in Star Wars. Poe Dameron just got... We got to understand who Poe Dameron was in The Last Jedi, because that's who they created him to be, and that's who he is now. Poe Dameron is a guy who shouldn't be in charge because he messes it up and he gets lots of people killed. In fact, all the guys messed everything up in this movie, right? Luke Skywalker, I keep wanting to call him Mark Hamill, whatever. He messed everything up, okay? So the women can't identify with Rey. Little girls can't identify with Rey, so they don't. The masses of them don't, and that's fine. We don't need heroes. But comic books, if you can get the heroes to just... And again, it's got to die. It's end it. It's like comic books didn't need to end. If you want to keep an industry alive and make it more appealing to more people, they already had the movies and comic books. It's a perfect marriage that everybody complained about already. Hey, everybody loves these Marvel movies. Why don't you make the comic books, get the people to buy the comic books now? Well, no, we're not done trashing heroes yet. You got to get the people in. I'm going to do another episode that you might want to watch, that nobody's done one like this. And I'm not selling anything, but nobody's done an episode. I'm not part of your t-shirt economy. Nobody's done an episode that shows through Fantagraphics books and through the Gen Xers and comics in the 90s how you got the infiltration of Marvel Comics specifically with this SJW degraded, like bad drawing style stuff, like from Fantagraphics, which is in Washington, which is a weird mindset of thinking. Fantagraphics publishes comics for years now that nobody buys, and they just keep making them. And the publisher, I'm not picking on Fantagraphics books, but the publisher says, yeah, I just like these books, I print them, even though nobody buys them. But it's so easy to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and Disney has all the money and all the smartest, sharpest minds and the ability to hire those people to make the best Star Wars movie and to make the best comics every month, every Wednesday, right? Every week. And what do they do instead? Lose money, and after they lose money, they do something completely uncharacteristic of being a business that wants to make money, or a corporation that wants to make money. They attack the people who aren't buying their stuff. The only people buying comics are the only people fucking complaining about them, because nobody else gives a shit. Nobody cares. So all the people that buy them either stopped reading them or are watching people bitch about them, or both. And Disney, who owns Marvel, and DC, whoever owns that, they don't give a fuck that you aren't spending money on them. They're just saying, comics is this now. So they're just going to keep making them that way, even though nobody's buying them. Until what? They go away? Yeah. And what's going to be there to replace it? I don't know. So what they're doing is, hey, either they're going to accept what we're giving them, which they're not, but either going to accept what they're giving them, and that'll move on to the next generation, and we'll just plow through it. Hey, people love whatever garbage we feed them. Good. We want to give them egg salad and tuna fish that's spoiled now instead of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. They love it. Fine. That's what we're going to do anyway, because we're just not going to give them peanut butter and jelly. We don't care if you want that. No more heroes' journeys. We don't want a generation of heroes. We want a generation of Steven Universes. We want a generation of stay-at-home gamers. We want a generation of hashtag I don't want to talk to women, and hashtag the women I hate men. You see what I mean? That really is the point of this. I don't give a damn if you disagree with me or not. But there's books written that are older than comic books. Again, like Brave New World. I always talk about Brave New World in my episodes on this channel. Old books, they just want, like people that don't want to fight for anything. So you have to destroy all images of heroes at every turn. What's going on with action movies? Who can be in action movies? Action movies can happen as long as it's unattached mercenaries, kind of like Rey. She's not really attached to anybody, but she picks up everybody else's cool shit from Star Wars that they like because it's a franchise for making money. Will they like Rey? No, we don't care. Will Rey go away? Yeah, she'll go away. Will the superheroes with old Greek gods go away? Sure. We don't care. We don't need them anymore. Meaning the corporation. The corporation doesn't want any movies or images across all media that have people that want to fight for anything. They just want people to say, this is how things are, this is right, this is wrong, and anybody who does things that we told you is wrong, shut them down. They won't have a voice online and the internet. They won't be able to make comic books about a hero's journey the way we want it. Hero's journey is something else right now. Disney is telling you, we are Bolshevik entertainment. Entertainment is this now, and that's whatever they give you. This is Star Wars now. Either like it or we don't care about Star Wars. But they do care about Star Wars because it's going to be TV show, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. It's like you don't have a lot of options unless people start making their own things, and people are. So the internet's becoming censored, specifically YouTube, if you want to pick one. YouTube is becoming censored. A lot of people have made money by being watched on YouTube, and movies and TV, which is Disney, that's part of it, says we don't want that anymore. So their programs say, and you can see this happening, why aren't the heroes fighting? They don't want them to fight. The Hulk yells at rapers. That's what the Hulk does now. And he's a Chinese 13-year-old boy that's not even a fucking man yet. The Hulk could be any ethnicity, all right? And he could be black and turn green. Nobody cares about that. But he has to be a man, all right? The Hulk smashes like aggression and anger and the consequences of that, right? In a comic book, no fighting. The Hulk isn't even. That's why the Hulk wasn't allowed to be fight anything in Infinity Wars. He had to have. The Hulk's a bully, so a bigger bully. The bully we're okay with, the pale purple wizard Thanos. We're cool with Thanos, so he's gonna put the Hulk in his place, and the Hulk's not gonna do shit. But you know what? Bruce Banner will put a suit on and fight the bad guys. Bruce Banner's a nerd. He's not strong enough to really fight. He has to get in a giant suit to fight. So, and he's still not strong enough. You see what I mean? So it's like Captain America can't be Captain America anymore. A woman has to do it. Across the board, it's just to end it. You see what I mean? Okay, enough of my tack hammer routine on you. But you get the idea. It is like this. All right? There's different levels of this. So how easy was it for them to dial back the, like, you know, Star Wars toys and stuff? And it's all acceptable losses. Do you think with the money and means, like, look, before the Toys R Us thing went down, they were like, oh, this deals all the stuff we have, they'll close down Toys R Us. Doesn't matter. Toys don't matter so much in the future that they're trying to shape. Merch doesn't matter so much. And the franchises don't matter so much either. If people will be along for the ride, fine. We're going to make them into something else and shut them down, because they only need to go so long as they need them, and if people don't pay attention, that's fine. There'll be plenty of other stuff to keep us busy with. But what it has to be is it just has to be hammered over like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, till this idea of what a hero is has to go away and be remolded into something else. So the singular lone mercenary type, like a John Wick or a female lesbian John Wick, that can keep happening, and that will be action films. But you know what I mean? It always has to, like everything, you know, you know the same, you know, agenda-driven stuff that's happening. But I think a lot of people are complaining, like, we want these people fired and we want them to fix it. We want the corporations to make us peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. What I'm trying to tell you is, they never will. They don't even sell peanut butter and jelly sandwiches anymore. They're only offering the ingredients for egg salad and tuna fish hoagies and shit like that. Peanut butter and jelly isn't even what they sell anymore. They're just calling it peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because they want to end heroes. What? I know, confusing. I hope not. But that said, I don't know how to do this again.